Thank you for coming to another episode of His Wife, Her Husband.
I am Shamika, his wife,
And I am Patrick, her husband, and our purpose is to help you build
and sustain your marriage.
from a biblical perspective. Um, thank you for being here. Since you guys are here, make sure you go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell notification so when we drop new videos, you'll be the first one to get those, as well as comment. Let us know what you think about the videos. If you have any questions that you want us to answer on this particular podcast, please put those in the comment section, as well as share, and share alike. I think Shamika's going to take away because she had the categories for us, or the topic for us to talk about today. If you believe your marriage is in need of coaching, Shamika and I are certified marriage and life coaches. Just log into our website, www.hiswifeherhusband.net, to book your discovery call.
Wives, if you are looking for one-on-one coaching, put his wife in the notes section.
Husbands, if you are looking for one-on-one coaching, put her husband in the notes section.
Husbands and wives, if you are looking for marriage coaching as a couple, put his wife, her husband in the notes section.
Remember, our purpose is to help you build
And sustain your marriage.
from a biblical perspective.
So go on over to www.hiswifeherhusband.net to schedule your discovery call today. Okay, so on this episode, we will take a look at how to combat or how to overcome the mundaneness of date night and date day blues. So, what I mean by that is, you know how sometimes you can be in a marriage and you can set time aside to spend time with your spouse. Um, for some of us, it may be spontaneous. I know for Patrick and myself, we have set days that we spend time with each other. Sometimes those days, if we are not careful, can become very mundane, very predictable, and very just, you can just kind of handle it carelessly. So, in this episode, we want to talk about and discuss ways to overcome becoming complacent or becoming mundane with the date days or date evenings. So, one of the things that I came to my mind, you want to go?
Oh, I was going to say the first thing is make sure you take the dates,
Yeah.
because I think that, again, we're going as if the people are taking the dates, but I think sometimes they don't take those dates,
Mm-hmm.
and they miss the days, or what's the word? Be committed to the date night or the date day. It's day for us because you know, because of our profession, Monday is our off day, so that's how date day became for us. But make a commitment to making sure, no matter what happens, you're gonna honor the date night or the date time that you have with your spouse. I think that's first and foremost, and that means by committing yourself to it means no one, unless emergency, and it has to be a real emergency. Unless there's an emergency, no one gets in the way of taking the time out to put the time in for that particular time. Like you have to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Starch, not
Mm-mm.
starch,
It's staunch.
stunch. You have to be stunched. You have to be set on that particular time, and just it. There is no, there are no, um, not excuses. There are no, what is it? What am I looking for? There are no allowances for getting out of it.
Mm-hmm.
By that I mean even when you all are not getting along.
Mm-hmm.
It's there's something, and I'm speaking from experience. There's something about even going out on the date or taking the time during the date time to still honor that. It opens up for an opportunity for you all to mend or to fix whatever's wrong. So number one, I would say, before we even get to the part about doing the mundane, is, are you all taking the time to have a date hour? Like, I don't. It's this. It should be something set aside, because people are like, well, I work in the daytime, she work in the nighttime, but we won't, like, we still
Mm-hmm.
got children. I don't really. I've heard I don't really have time to.
Mm-hmm.
You find it.
Mm-hmm.
Find the time, whether it's. Do you remember we used to do the minute? It was a bad, but we would do the
Mm-hmm.
1 minute thing.
Mm-hmm. What show was that we got
That
that
was
from?
scandalous. It
We
was a
got that from
scandal.
Scandal. Scandal. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And the
Bad, but it was
president
good.
was having an
Fits.
affair with the lady, the
Olivia.
mistress Olivia
Mm-hmm.
Pope,
Mm-hmm.
and they would take 1 minute. It was like whatever they little thing, just to be in each other's presence when no one else was there,
Mm-hmm.
and that 1 minute meant a lot to them. So if it's just 5 minutes, that it's just you all just, baby, I'm in your truck drive. I'm in town. I know I got to do another run, but meet me at Love's on whatever. You know what I'm saying? And that's your date. The chicken, at where we used to go on Elvis Presley.
Dodges.
Dodgers. Get you some Dodgers chicken, potato wedges, and something to drink, and that's y'all date sitting out looking at folks on Elvis Presley, whatever. But yeah, just taking the time. So yeah, I think that's first and foremost. But go ahead. What you finna say?
Yeah. So to piggyback on what Patrick said, you do have to carve out the time. And what's coming to my mind is Fred Hammond's song, "Make Time for Love." Like you have to make time for your spouse because if you don't make that time, time won't present itself. Like
Hmm.
everything is gonna try to impose and interrupt and all of that. So
Yeah.
just remember that you have to be committed to set inside a time,
Hmm.
set inside a day, setting aside that moment that you share exclusively with your spouse. Because if you don't, no one is going to give it to you. Like you have to carve it out. And yeah, and
And
so it's, mhm.
go ahead.
And so and then you will see where it shows up. Now in the beginning it's gonna be exciting.
Hmm.
And so of course during that excitement and even during time has a way of wearing out. So you have to
Hmm.
continue to make it do what you can to make it exciting.
I think another thing is when you set that time, something is always gonna come up. Someone is always like something is always gonna come up to interrupt that time. Like it's just okay, babe, this is what
Inevitable.
we're gonna do. We're gonna do this time. We're gonna do this date. We're gonna do this hour. Like it's set. We agree. We agree. Nobody. And then always somebody
Or
or something
something. Hmm.
happens to see
To test
to
it.
test whether or not you're going to be committed to that particular
To
time for
what
you
you
all.
said.
And I'm telling you, if you start being inconsistent, you will eventually begin to move away from that time that you need. That's why I mean we when we were discussing nobody,
Hmm.
nobody. Now
Hmm.
I
Me.
got fussed at in the beginning because sometimes I would stay on my phone and whatever, and it was for the purpose of the children, so it was great. But because I had my phone, I would allow even other people other than my children to still
Have
interrupt. So
access,
then,
yeah.
yeah, so then I had to, okay, you know what? Let me tell people, listen, and I would broadcast because I want them to understand. I can see you calling, and I may look at the phone and see you calling, and I'm gonna put the phone down because that's not your time.
Hmm.
I've even had people try to, get me to maybe come cut their hair, and because it's an emergency, and I like, no, you don't get it. I don't care how much you're paying for that particular time. That time is priceless for my marriage. I had one guy even say, "Well, I think you should come and do this because it's just one day." Yeah, for you it's just one day, but then when I show you that I'm willing to
Hmm.
forfeit that just one day, that one time,
To prioritize you
now you're
more.
gonna
Hmm.
I'm giving you permission to do it because I've showed you that I'm really not as committed to it as I should be. So
Yeah.
anyway, that's not the answer to the question, but I think it starts there first.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good point. And when it comes to emergencies, you and your spouse decide what that emergency
That's
is.
good.
What would be that thing that you will make that adjustment? No one else can decide what that
Correct.
is. And what I mean by that is that other people always make their urgency an emergency to you. It
Mm-hmm.
may be an emergency for them, and then they say it's urgent, it's pressing that you here. No, no, because you would figure it out if I wasn't here. If I was
Correct.
on a cruise and you couldn't get in touch with me, guess what? You would have to figure it out. So
Correct.
you're gonna have to figure it out this time.
Yeah.
Again, you and your spouse determine what that emergency is. You don't let in someone else determine how that time or how that space and how your moment look with your spouse.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also decide who are the people that will have access to you. You know, and so again, we decide we'll leave our phone open for this person, and that person, and so and we ran a risk. We run a risk. We are always laughed at, mocked at, or whatever. But we're also the picture of that's what I want to be as well. So
Mm-hmm.
they don't tell that part,
And
but
my friends will that like they will get on my Monday my parents don't talk to nobody, man. You know, like, but you know,
yeah.
and that's all right. It's cool with me. But now you know. But
And
anyway,
then the other thing too about setting that time aside is that you can anticipate and you can plan. And so when you have a set
go
day
into
and
detail for me
time,
what you mean by that.
when you have a set day and time, you have something to look forward to. So it's not as mundane.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like if your date night is Tuesday night, then you begin to prepare
Gotcha.
yourself.
Right.
You begin to look forward to and anticipate spending that exclusive time
Mm-hmm.
with your spouse. And so I think a lot of times when we fail to do that and we just kind of be cavalier about it, like, oh yeah, now I have to spend time with. No, it's not just like another duty. It's something that you look forward to. Like you should be trying to decide on, what outfit you're gonna wear, where you want to go, what do you want to eat. And Patrick and I even experienced at one point in time in our marriage where finances was challenging,
Mm-hmm.
and so we would have to decide based on our budget. We have $25.
Mm-hmm.
What do we want to do? We can go to a movie. It may be the drive-in movie.
Mm-hmm.
And we may have to take our own popcorn or pizza or whatever it is. But we figure out a way. We figured out a way to get it done as far as enjoying one another.
Mm-hmm.
And there have even been times where we had to share a bag of chips and a soda. So my point is that it doesn't matter the resources. It doesn't matter what's going on. You make sure that the most important part is that you are carving out time to spend quality and intimate time with each other. If it's no more than just walking up the street, holding hands, still dreaming, and still looking
Mm-hmm.
forward to a future where you won't have to do that. But meanwhile, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah, and then we started getting a little money. We started sharing Chick-fil-A kids meal. That's when the real big bucks start rolling in a way.
Hilarious.
You have
That's funny.
you have another one?
Um, no, you can go.
All right. So one of the things I think to eliminate the mundaneness of dating
Wow,
is
married.
while married.
That's
That's
funny.
good.
Dating while married.
That's really good. Is to so so all of what we're talking about, like Shamika saying, looking forward to the day,
Yeah.
preparing to, you know, it shouldn't be just, oh, it's date day.
Yeah.
Oh, it's time for it again. No, like every week, because I think it should be every week. And if it can't be every week, it should be every 2 weeks. It should not be once a month. All right. But every week, really prepping yourself for that. Now, full transparency, I have not had that thought process. Like I'm looking forward to it, but it wasn't okay, let me get myself together. Let me cut my hair before date day. Like I didn't do that. So her saying that, so listen, she gave me some advice. Now it becomes a little different because the intentionality is different. The
Yeah.
thought process toward it is a little bit different. So be intentional.
Mhm.
Uh, have excitement about today,
Yeah.
about that day or that time. I would say be intentional about rediscovering what made you smile, what made them smile. You know what I'm saying? So look at your marriage now. Figure out what is it that we used to do that we don't do anymore that you would think it could be something that would bring excitement to the marriage. You feel what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
I think you have to rediscover.
Mhm.
Um, I was trying to be deep, but rediscover the things that really bring excitement to the marriage and begin to do those things. So you're saying, okay, what did I used to do that I don't do anymore?
Mhm.
Do those things, and that becomes um, helpful in eliminating the mundaneness of dating while married.
Yeah. That is so true. That is good. And it's nothing wrong with rediscovering. And actually when you take time to step back to rediscover, let's say you find out that maybe you stop writing letters in the lunch or leaving, leaving letters in the car or whatever. I don't know. Just just look quirky, but yet um, things to build up. Remember when you were dating before marriage,
Right.
you would send small cues to let them know that I'm thinking about you before that time came. So like you were building momentum is what I'm trying to say. You would build momentum for that time before you spend time. And so again, it's an anticipation and it's a, ooh, baby, I can't wait to be alone with you. Ooh, I can't wait to, whatever. So we have to go back to doing those things because the truth of the matter is life happens, and it has a way of trying to carry us away, and so we have to fight to push back to say no, but he is important.
Mhm.
No, my husband is important. No, she is important. My wife is priority, and I am going to do those things, and we're not going to allow the lack thereof to cause me to cut off my creativity.
That was
No.
my word. Go ahead.
Okay.
Mhm.
No, I'm not going to allow um being in like having a shortage. That's not going to do it. I have to be resourceful and creative
Mhm.
and getting it done. I can remember a time, maybe it's a little too personal, but I can remember a time when Patrick and I, we were really, really, really down on our finances. And Valentine's had come up. And so I wanted to do something nice and special. I didn't have the finances to do it. And so I didn't have a lot of finances. Let me say that I didn't have a
Mhm.
lot of finances. I want to say I had about $5 to spare. I can remember we were living downtown
Mhm.
and I went to Family Dollar, and they they had these little, like those "Will you be my Valentine Day" cards, and they had a little cow, and they made the little red lips, the little chocolate kisses lips, and it said "You move me" or something like that.
Mhm.
But I got that, and I wrote a letter on the mirror with my lipstick, and I
Mhm.
kissed on the mirror. Look, hey, I did my business. You hear me?
Mhm.
That was a Valentine to remember.
Mhm.
My point is that we did not, or I did not spend, hundreds and hundreds of dollars to
Mhm.
create a moment. It's those things that we have to go back to, so that we can keep that spark, that flame going in
Mhm.
our marriage. So yeah.
And the word she used that I was like, that's my word, was creativity.
Mhm.
Like, be creative.
Mhm.
Um, it is be creative as long as what you're doing and playing does not go against the word of God. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So you want to invite as many creative ideals as possible that would enhance the marriage. Again, using the law of Christ, Paul said to those that are without the law, I become without the law, yet not without the law of Christ. So the law of Christ, that love that Christ showed to his church, becomes the
Yeah.
boundaries,
Yeah.
becomes the boundaries for what you can and cannot do. And as long as you stay within that, the bed is undefiled, or the way you love each other becomes undefiled. So be creative. Like,
Yeah.
be like, so again, this goes back to intentionality though. I have to
Mhm.
be intentional
Mhm.
about how I express my love to my spouse and go all out. Now, we were talking about financial situations where there's not a money, where there's not a lot of money,
Mhm.
but in times where there is a lot of money, like, do your thing. You feel what I'm saying? Like, really put in
Yeah.
the
Don't.
really
Mhm.
invest the time and the money into this
And your imagination
sacred
too.
unity
Mhm.
that God has allowed us to be to be partakers of. You know what I'm saying? And I think when you invest the time and the money, that's where you show what you treasure. You feel what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah,
So
and I will say, and it's not to dismiss the mundane, because sometimes there will be a season of mundaneness, like it's just kind of humdrum. All right, I don't, what I'm wanting to communicate is just because it's mundane, I don't want you to dismiss it. But I do want you to go back and revisit how you can make it exciting to get out of that slump.
so you say don't dismiss it. You mean recognize that we are in a mundane situation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And it's okay for you to acknowledge, like, all we do is we just sit at home
To watch movies.
and watch. Yeah, it's like, okay, we're not having another movie night. Like, this is becoming
Hmm.
very boring. But then again, if there's something that you all both enjoy doing, that's okay. But you still have to find a way to press through the everyday, usual, always, all the day activity.
Hmm.
Like, because the truth of the matter, if that's what you enjoy, that's just what you all enjoy. Because
Hmm.
you do get to a place where I just want this slice of pie of enjoyment. I just want to be with my husband,
Hmm.
and yeah, we enjoy each other, and that's good for me.
Hmm.
But we still cannot allow that place of comfort to make us complacent, that we don't venture out, like to go to a museum or to go out of town or to, just hit the highway and see how far the gas tank will lead us. Do the fun stuff, and before you know it, you will have broken that mundane cycle, and then you can go back to enjoying that comfortable spot of movie night again. Just
So don't dismiss the mundaneness.
mhm,
If you're in a mundane situation, check this out, y'all. Communicate that.
mhm,
Like, so properly communicate with your spouse that you feel. So again, because you have to be careful, because the spouse may feel like, okay, you know, they may consider the insult that, like, well, I'm boring or something. But you have to properly communicate timing, that, hey, I want to do something different. I'm feeling that our date days are becoming
too routine.
too routine. You know what I'm
Mhm,
saying?
mhm.
Let's do something different. Now, I'm just taking everything in. Okay, well, baby, I don't have enough money right now to do that. Cool. I tell you what, baby, how about we do this? Because all we do is buy pizza or make pizza, then watch movies. I really want to do something different. How about for the next 90 days, for the next 3 months, we put money aside for whatever.
The big date or the
Right.
big, the
So
extravagant.
while we're still doing the mundane, because
Mhm.
financially we're not there, we are setting aside $5 per paycheck. Each one of you guys is setting aside. She's setting aside. He's setting aside, and we're just setting aside $5 for the next whatever, so that we can finally go to boom. But figure that out. Like, okay, if we save $5 each, or $10 each, or $20 a week, how much would that be? Okay, that'd be all right. Cool. So that's what. Let's do 25, because I can add that better. That's 25. You got 25. I got 25. So that's $100. That's $200. 2, 4, 6. So baby, at the end we got $600. What do we want to do with $600? Okay, I heard that got the ticket coming out for this, and so okay, so this date, 3 months from now, $600 is going to be set aside for this big 3 month date.
Mhm.
All the while we're still doing the mundane thing, but we're saving now for a purpose.
Yeah.
And because you communicated that you don't want to keep eating popcorn and watching the movie, but you want to do something different. Here's a plan,
To
but
move
this
ahead.
plan
Yeah.
is going to require us to sacrifice so we can do this. Now we're talking to people who maybe they don't have the money, but they're trying to figure something out.
Mhm.
This is what we're going to do now mentally. The I'm hoping now mentally the mundaneness is not so bad,
It's shifted really
because
because
I'm
it's
looking. Yeah,
anticipation.
I have
Mhm.
anticipation. We and then do a countdown date. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
They have a countdown app for you to do that.
Yeah, and then all right. So you got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 12 dates to the big date. We got 11. We got 10. Like, you're counting down those dates to this big date, and now you've created another thing along with the dates. You're still dating though. You're still doing your date, your date night or date day every week up until that point, and now it has become something, and it's a countdown to the big thing. And every 3 months we're doing something great. It's a countdown to that. So that's just an idea. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, and so another idea that come to my mind is you all can. I remember a friend of mine. She gave me a jar that had um, date 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 ideas,
Mm-hmm.
and so it was like either you had to come up with a stay at home date, or it was budgeting on a dating on a budget. It was I can't remember all of them, but it was really creative. And
Mm-hmm.
so when you pulled that popsicle stick out or that color, then you
Mm-hmm.
had to pick from those activities that were listed.
Right.
So it could be going to the museum,
Mm-hmm.
maybe like staycationing, taking a different approach to your own city.
Mm-hmm.
It could be going out of town. It just could be very creative. So anyway, my
Mm-hmm.
my point is that maybe you and your spouse can set aside some things that you've always wanted to do, put that in a jar,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can do, you can pull out different ideas. Maybe you can do a DIY project. That could be a date day or date night.
It's
Uh,
exciting.
huh.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, there are different ways again to break that mundaneness. Then the other thing is a he pick you pick. So like he has to plan the entire date day, and then you have a time where you pick the date night or day thing. And then the other thing is that you all exchange doing what each other like. So this previous date night that Patrick had and I had, we did a rom com, a romantic comedy. So it was a movie that I got to pick, and so he had to enjoy that movie. He had to stay fully
You heard
engaged.
she said I had to enjoy it.
He had to. And it
Right.
ended up being really
It
good.
was good.
Now, there are times where we have some romantic actions, and I have to admit, Patrick is phenomenal with picking streaming movies. He is good. Now, me on the other hand, is kind of like, I don't know
So,
what
but
I'm
here's
going
the
to get.
thing though. She'll pick a movie. So here's why I don't like when she pick movies,
Yeah.
especially at nighttime,
Oh,
because she will fall asleep
I
and
will.
I'll keep watching it.
Hmm.
And guess what? I get into it. I think the very first movie, not the first movie, but one of the movies that comes to mind, she fell asleep on, and that was what was the one when the guy Noah,
Yeah, the notebook.
the Notebook. Hey,
Hey, y'all need to look
that
at
junk
that.
go hard in the paint. If you've never
Listen.
seen it,
Yeah,
that junk go hard in the paint. Don't watch it on the one of them streaming because they like
they edited
if you
the
can find it
end.
there, they edit the end part. But that was the dopest part
Yeah,
of the
that was
movie
so
was the
delicate, so
end.
intimate.
And
Yeah.
hey, listen, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and confess. I was crying like I'm looking. I'm like, man, this Negro sleep, man. And I'm like, God, man, sucker, God, if we had to go,
It was a lot of dust.
that's that's how I want to go with my wife. Like it was, but it was a good movie. And I'm like, now you got me up watching this movie. You picked the
I
movie
did.
and fell asleep.
In
And
my
for me, I
defense,
just don't like to. I don't like to watch movies and not see what the end is gonna be.
in my
You know what I'm saying?
defense, in my defense, it's a long movie. Okay, it was a long movie,
That's true.
and Valentine Day is coming up, so there would be a great couples date night movie.
The streaming,
Like you
like,
can
go
make it a
find the. I
whole
don't know if they
thing.
still sell DVDs. If you can, go get the DVD.
Yeah.
Put
Now,
it in
look, the
something.
thing is, they sell DVDs, but do they still have a DVD player?
I don't
Now,
know,
that's a whole nother
cause
thing.
we had our daughter to watch it,
Hmm.
and we got to the end part,
And just
and it's just
disappointed. They just
I was
stole
like,
the thunder.
ah. But I had to find the end so she can watch it. To come to find out that the streaming service, man, listen, today's generation of culture, y'all so soft, man. Like just I
Oh,
don't
let
know,
it be.
like Generation X, like listen, bro,
Yeah,
we was
we were
coming, we was
militant. We was we was
Anyway, y'all
in the
too
old words, we
fickle.
were about it. But listen,
Yeah,
let me
about it,
say
about it.
this. When it comes to this is such a sidebar, but it's true. I like the convenience of the streaming device, the streaming services, but I don't like the feature that they can edit out things. And I get it, right? That some things are, like
Mm-mm.
but no, but it's like if you take out one thing, then we need to cut all the movies because it is a lot of things that I am offended by. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, some things I just don't want to see,
Correct.
but we still have to look at it.
Correct.
So if you had to do it for one, you need to do it across the board.
Amen.
So other than that, leave it alone. But now back to the subject. These are ways that you can cut the mundaneness.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want the fact that you may have been experiencing boredom. That's another word for mundaneness, boredom in your marriage concerning dating one another. Take the initiative and step forward to break the ice, to get things back going again. Amen?
Let me give you a barbershop conversation. Fellas, if she create start an argument with you for no reason at all, that's her sign that she's bored. That's what my client told me. He said, watch it. If she just create an argument for no reason, she's saying, I'm bored. I want something different. I'm just saying that's what they said in the barbershop. So
Nail shop talk.
that is not nail shop
It
talk.
is never just because, unless it's just
I have
because.
no idea what that means.
I don't need them, but that's our complexities. Amen. That's what make us fit. Okay. Anyway, if you have some ideas
That's good.
that you have experienced in your marriage as far as breaking the mundaneness and the boredom out of dating,
Mm-hmm.
please put that in the comments below. We need to know
Right.
how we can overcome this boredom and keep the spice in our marriage.
Good.
You know why? Because God wants us to be together
Yeah.
and to enjoy one another. This not just service just unto the Lord. It is, but it's not only that. He's given us this marriage to richly enjoy. This is
Mm-hmm.
a benefit
Right.
of being able to be in relationship with
Mm-hmm.
someone. We
Mm-hmm.
want to experience it to the fullest. So, again, if you have ways that you have overcome the boredom and the mundaneness of dating, drop that in the comment section because we want to know what to do. Yeah, we need ideas too. Dropping bars. Subscribe.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Uh,
subscribe.
s-
Yep.
subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
Subscribe. Hit the subscribe thing.
Thumbs up.
Like this video. You know why? It makes us feel good when we see those like
It
buttons.
does.
Ain't nobody even tell no story. We are going for algorithms, but we like the like. Amen. We
True.
like the like. Also, hit that notification bell.
Mm-hmm.
Ring a ling ling. So when we drop it after it's edited and everything, guess what? You will know.
Right. That's
Yeah.
good.
Okay, I think that's it.
Also, listen, over 70% of you who are watching the video
Come on,
have not
stats.
subscribed. Please, if you're already watching, subscribe. Share it with a friend and ask them to first subscribe, then go back and watch all the videos. And it really does help us out. And we appreciate that. All right? Take care.
Yay. Enjoy.